she paid off a massive amount of debt. She paid off $130,000 plus of debt. Can you imagine that? She's going to be sharing her story with us today. She's from the USA. She's in the DMV area and she's a financial coach, Miss Nina Chimanga. And my name is Ida. You already know I am here in Canada and we go live every other week on a Saturday. And today it's Nina. So please welcome Miss Nina Chimanga. Hi,
Hi.
Nina.
Hi. Good morning.
Good morning and welcome to the platform.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
Amazing. So, guys, as you join us, please, all we ask is that you share. Share so that the other people who might benefit from the information that we're sharing here today can see the information in real time and hopefully get to ask their questions. But more importantly, we want people to get this information because we are trying to make an impact in our community. And we believe that for you to have information, it gives you the power, it puts the power in your hand to know that, yes, you can do certain things. So all
Yep.
we're doing is getting you information, sharing our stories to inspire you, to motivate you. We're live on Facebook and we're live on YouTube. So when you join us, please give a thumbs up, subscribe, say hi, and yes, let's dive right in.
Yep.
So Nina, go ahead, please tell us about yourself. Who's Nina?
So good morning, everyone. I am Nina, like Ida said, based in the USA, DMV area to be specific. And I met with Ida on IG and I realized that we're pretty much doing the same thing. So we connected and we started talking. But to talk about me in depth, from Cameroon, of course, I came to the US when I was 18. And, coming to the US, at that young age, the way we grew up in Cameroon and our upbringing is totally different. I didn't have like family here a lot. Like my whole family was back home, parents, siblings. I just had maybe one or two relatives here. Getting into a new world all by yourself, trying to figure stuff out. And so, of course, I was 18, so I had to go back to school. So I didn't know anything about the US system, how stuff work and stuff like that. So I had to go enroll in school. And then, of course, I had financial aid because I was not working a lot. But student loans now, no one educated me about student loans in the US. So even though I had financial aid to cover the cost of my tuition, I was still taking out student loans because, of course, they said this is money you can go to school, take the money, pay it back when you're done. And I needed money, right? So I would take the money and maybe use some of it in just majority of it. I would take it and just use it for my personal stuff. Maybe go out at that time because I had no financial knowledge pretty much. Go out, do what I want. And I didn't know those loans were piling up. So as time was going, those loans were adding. And then when it comes to like my first credit card, I got the card because when I went to the bank to open my first bank account, it was Bank of America. And when I went there, the lady asked me when I opened the account, "Do you want a credit card?" I didn't understand how credit cards work. So I was just like, "Well, what is it?" And she said, "Oh, and you'll be surprised. These people that work in the financial industry or in the banks, they don't even understand the products that is sold to their customers or clients." And she said, "You want a credit card?" I said, what is that and how is it gonna be like? She said, "You can use it and pay back at the end of the month." Like she did not give me the education. If I were the one working in the bank right now with the knowledge I have right now, and I see an 18-year-old, I would give to that person. She just said, "Use it and pay back at the end of the month." And I'm like, "Oh, this is good." And then I applied and they approved me for $1,000. I was like, "Well, so I can use this even if I'm broke and buy whatever I want." She said, "Oh, all you have to do is make the minimum payments." I was like, "Yay, I'll
That
get the."
was a person at the bank giving that kind of advice.
I'm telling you, and she told me you have to make the minimum payments. That's at least not to default. That's what she said, not to
Mhm.
default. But if you have the money, you can make the payment. But just to stay not default, make the minimum payments. I didn't have no knowledge. I didn't go do no research. I applied. They approved me for $1,000. Boom! I took it. Started swiping right away when the card came. At the end of the month, I will make $25, and the interest is going up and all of that. So that's how I started accumulating credit cards. And then you know how you go to stores here. My second card, I think it was a Target card. I went to Target and the lady was like, "Oh, do you want to save 15% on your purchase? Who doesn't want to save on their purchase?"
Mhm.
I was like, "Yes, I want to save 15%." But she said, "You got to open a store card." And she said, I said, what is that? She said, it's a credit card. You can use it and pay. And anytime you shop at Target or any other store that Target accepts, you're gonna get a discount 5% all the time. I'm like, who doesn't love a discount? I apply for the card. That's how I started getting credit cards. The next one, I went to TJ Maxx. Do you want a card? You're gonna get 30% off your purchase today. Why not? I got the card. So that's how I started racking up credit cards. So that was my story with credit cards because I didn't even understand how they were working. I would just be paying the minimum payments. Then when it came to my student loans, by the time I graduated, not to make it a very long story, I was finally done with my master's, I think in 2020. And I took out loans because for my bachelor's and then my master's degree, I completely took out loans. I looked at my debt at one point and I was owing about 120 something $1,000 with the interest accruing on it. And I'm
That's the
like,
student loan.
yeah, the student loans alone. So I think that was like in 2019. And I'm like, how did I get here? What happened? And then at that time, I was already working a 6 figures job, but I was broke. And everyone around me was broke because we're constantly borrowing money from one another. We're like, oh, can you loan me $200? And I'll give you back when I get paid. I'm borrowing too. Can I get $400? I will give you back when I get paid. And then one Friday, like what really sparked my whole journey was like one Friday, I got paid, like, to be honest, about $3,000 that day. And then before I knew it, I was left with about $150 at the end of the day. And I
The
was
day
like,
you were paid, you had 3,000, and you left. You
no
ended up with
kidding. Like,
150.
I had like $150. And I'm looking at my account like, where did this money go to? So I had some debts. I was owing my two friends. I paid. Then, of course, bills. I paid some bills. Because one thing about me, even though I was in debt, I always made sure I met the minimum payments on my debt. So I will never default, no matter what. I will not just stay and not pay. I will make the minimum payments. So even if it's $25, $30, $40, I will make those payments. So, and I'm like, how did I get paid 3,000 and I'm left with 150,000? And then that same day, I think my student loan servicer, which was Navient, sent me an email that because I was done with grad school, my repayment have to start, I think, around August or September. And then they told me that my repayment amount based on my loan that I'm owing was gonna be almost like 900 and something dollars a month. And I was like, how am I gonna do this? I went online and Googled how to get out of debt. For that's exactly what I did. I went online, and the first person that came, it directed me to YouTube. I saw Dave Ramsey. That's how I got on Dave Ramsey. And I was like, oh, interesting. So are there other people out here like me? I didn't know that. I binge watch his show. Like, you know how he has a show, people calling and say their issues. I watched like 50 episodes. Thank God it was a Friday. I had time. I was not working the next day.
Yeah.
I watched more than 60 episodes of his show. And I was like, this is a pandemic, really, to call it. A lot of people are in this issue. I did not know I was the only one. I started watching it, but still, that was in 2019, like I think around August 2019. And then I started writing down stuff, even though he said you should budget. And that's where I learned where you have the baby steps from. Fast forward till then, at the end of 2019, that's when I really started serious to paying off my debt. I don't want to make the story too long, but that's where pretty much where I came from. Like, to start getting serious. That was in August 2019, but I did not really start paying off my debt until December 2019. That's when I really took the bull by the horn and I was like, I got to start. I have to start somewhere.
So you got out of school when? Because you said in 2019 August, that's when you started getting intentional. But when did you get out of school?
I was still in school pretty much. So the thing, I graduated grad school in 2020, but Navient was just telling me that your payments are coming up because when you go to school here, when you're about to start graduating, your student loan servicer will start reaching out to you. They'll be giving you options. You're almost done with school. Just know that you have to start paying your loans back. And then they were giving me an estimate. So that was in December 2019, when I started paying off my debt. But I did not graduate master's until May 2020. So I already started paying off the debt even while I was still in school. But Navient was just telling me that you're almost done with school. This is how much you'll be paying by the time you get done. They're just prepping you ahead of time so that you should know you should not be surprised and be like, I was not expecting this amount of money to pay every month. And they were telling me you're gonna be paying about $900 a month based on the amount I owed.
So in their estimate, with the $120,000 that you owed them about that, you were
Mm-hmm.
going to be paying 900 a month. And how long did they estimate you were going to pay that for?
And mind you, that was if I was going, it was gonna take me at no less than 10 years, minimum 10 years. So they were
Mm-hmm.
going on like maybe 120 months, and then you have the options to do like a income driven plan. So if you don't make a lot of money and you tell them that, hey, I cannot afford this money, this is too much based on the amount I make, you have to prove to them your pay stubs and all of that, showing that you have other responsibilities and they can drop the amount. But they were just telling me that this is the amount you might be paying, but it's tentative. They were just letting you know ahead of time.
But you were making a lot of money.
I was, yes. And I was like, I can pay these loans. I don't know why I have to pay student loans for 10 years. It was not sitting with me. So in December 19, 2020, I had some money in my account that I saved that money because I wanted to start a business, but I wasn't just not sure of what I wanted to do. But
Wait,
I was
hold on.
just
That's 2019 or 2020?
No,
December.
2019, the same
Okay.
December when I started paying off my loans. That was
Mm-hmm.
2019 because I graduated school May 2020, but I started paying off my loans. I
Before.
remember the date very well, which was December 19, 2019. So I was going to start a business, but I was not sure what I wanted to do. But I was just keeping the money, waiting for the opportunity. I didn't want the opportunity to come by, and I'm not ready. So I was just saving and saving and saving. So I had some money in my account, and so I was like, it's almost New Year. Maybe I'll start paying the loans January 1st, 2020. And then I just woke up that day and I was like, why do I have to wait for the new year? I don't have to wait for the new year. People will always say I'm waiting for the new year to make changes.
Yeah.
9 out of 10, they don't follow through the plan. If you're waiting for the new year to start losing weight, you will not do it. So I was like, why do I have to wait for the new year to start if I have the money? So I had the money in a CD account. For anybody who don't know what's a CD account, it's a certificate of deposit where you can put the money maybe for 14 months. You don't touch it because you want to heal interest on it.
Mm-hmm.
If maybe you're saving for a house and you know that you're gonna get tempted. If you take out the money before the 14 months, they're gonna charge you fees.
Yeah.
So I call my bank and I'm like, I need to withdraw. So I had about, just to be very transparent, because to me, when it comes to finances, I love to be transparent as possible because
Yeah.
people, you can really inspire people and people can maybe understand where you're coming from. I had about, I think almost 60,000 in my account that I saved for a business. I
Yeah.
called the bank and I'm like, can I probably withdraw like 40,000 of this money? And the lady was like, what do you need the money for? I said, oh, first of all, I told her, oh, I have an emergency. I need to use it. She said, but you know, you're going to charge fees, right? Because you're pulling out the money before time. This money does not heal until May 2020. I said, ma'am, please, I will need the money. How much are the fees? She said, we're going to charge you almost $400. And then
Mm-hmm.
later on, I told her the real reason why I wanted to use the money. I told her I have student loans and I really want to pay off my loans because I don't want to go into the new year in debt. And she was like, oh, wow, that's really amazing. And I was like 28 then. And she's like 28 or 27. And she's like, wow, for you at this age to be thinking that way, I am so proud of you. I'm really
Mm-hmm.
proud of you. And because of that, she waived those fees. I did not expect it, but she waived the 400 and something dollars I was going to get charged. She said, well, we're in the Christmas season. Honestly, I'm going to talk to my manager. We're going to waive this fees. You inspired me, and that's a Christmas gift to you. I was
That's
like,
amazing.
yep. 2 days, they deposited the money into my account. I called Navian. I'm like, I want to make a payment. Navian is like, no, you're not done from school. You still have time. Because they want to get interest. I'm like, no, I have to make
You want to pay them back their money and they say, no, don't pay.
right. And I'm like, I have to make a payment. It's like, oh, if you don't want to do you can also do it online. You know that, right? You can just log into your account and also do it. I'm like, can you take the payment over the phone? She said they were gonna charge me a fee because to take the payment over the phone, if the person was gonna take it, I can still log. Since I had the login and everything, because I used to look at my loans, I had 15 different loans because they will categorize them. There were about 15 of them, but they all summed up to that amount.
Mm-hmm.
I went in there and paid the ones that had the highest interest. Some of them had 7% interest. Some of them had 3%. Some of them had 4%. I took the 40,000, I dumped it right there. And that's how my loans went down from like 130 to minus 40,000. How much is that? almost 90,000.
Yeah, about 90,000.
Yep, in less than 2 days. And that
Yeah.
got me really motivated. I was like, wow. When I saw when the balance cleared out, I was only owing that amount. I went in all ham. When the new year started, I just went all ham. I created a budget. I started tracking my money. I was paying like $4,000 a month to the loans. I was literally very frugal and everything. And everybody got confused why I changed. My friends would be like, let's go on vacation. And I'm nope, I'm on my debt-free journey. I'm not going. Let's go to Vegas. I'm not going. I cannot go. So I was on a strict budget. When you say strict, I didn't buy no clothes. Thank God the pandemic again. I didn't go nowhere 2020. I did not buy nothing. And I'm so happy the pandemic even happened because it helped me to save money. Yeah, but I was not going anywhere. Before the pandemic, before March, my friends would be like, "Oh, I have a birthday." I'm like, "I can't go out." And then when the pandemic hit, I was like, "Thank you, Jesus. I will not even go nowhere."
Yeah, you can't even go anymore because
Yep.
you can't. Yeah.
Yep.
Oh my God, that's amazing. So we're having a lot of comments over here. Here we say, that's my sister, Nenge. She says, so right, Nina, no one tells you the fine print. Most of us fell victims. Glad you ladies are sharing your knowledge and experience.
Yep. Then when you're taking the student loans, they just tell you sign a promising note that you have to pay back. Because that's one thing in America, you will pay back your student loans. Even if that's one loan, you will pay back. So you will sign that promising note and you have to pay back. I was 20, 21, taking out loans. I'm just excited to get the money. They'll send you the email. Can you sign this? No, we sign it. They pay your fees, they deposit the rest in your account. And I go about living my best life on borrowed money. I didn't know any better.
How much did you even need for school? Because they ended up giving you loans even for lifestyle.
Yes, they end up giving you loans for life because I didn't need that money. So let me say they'll pay my fees, and then I'll maybe say I'll have over $8,000, $7,000 deposited into my account. Why will you give a 21-year-old that kind of money when they don't even know how to manage stuff? Like, why will you guys give me that kind of money? I'll take that. I mean, trust me, I actually put some of that money into use. Like I sent it back home. I did some projects with it, but there would have been a way out if I didn't take out the student loans. I would have done something else because I used some of that money to actually renovate our house back home. I actually used some of that money and put it into good work, but I shouldn't have used that money for that purpose. I should have found another way.
Yeah, because the money shouldn't have been there in the first place. You would have.
Yeah, if I didn't have that money, I would have found another way to make things work.
Yeah. So what were your friends saying to you?
Everybody, because they know that I'm this cheerful person. I'm always giving. I'm that one person that everybody will call me from Cameroon. Oh, where the most people call me Nee, please, I have this problem. Family, friends. I'm sorry. As Dave Ramsey said, nope, I don't have it. No. If you say no, no was my answer. And when they say, this is your financial journey there on that will no drink water. Now this journey, now which new one this? I say you guys cannot understand. Yeah. And everybody was against the fact. When I was paying up the loans, I didn't tell a lot of people that I took 40,000 and paid my loans there because if I told them, they would have discouraged me.
Yeah, if you told them beforehand, right, they would not want you to do that.
Even the ones I told after and I was trying to test them, oh, I have some 40,000 in my account. I'm about to go take it and pay my student loans. They're like, who does that? Who pays student loans? Who does that? Everybody, Obama paid his loans when he was 45. Why are you rushing? Who does that? I'm like, well, too bad. I did it. I do that and I've already done it. So you can't tell me nothing. They're like, what? Thank God you told me after you have done it. I'm like, yeah, I know very well to tell you guys before because you guys would discourage me and just trying to wipe away the whole idea from my mind not to pay off the debt and everything. So I was like, nobody is stopping me. Not even my mom, not even my father, not even my siblings. I am going in all harm. And that's the way I attack my debt. And before the end of 2020, I was done paying off all those debt. I paid off everything. And then I literally left 5,000 because Biden said he was going to wipe away student loan debt for some people. So I left that 5,000 and be like, if Biden want to wipe away debt, let me benefit from this. I left 5,000 truly. I only paid that 5,000 this year. But because I saw that nothing was happening, I'm like, I'm not going to go ahead and wait on an administration to get me debt free. I really want to be debt free. I will just make the payment. Because they kept extending the forbearance and everything. Because Biden said he was going to wipe away some loans, but it never happened. I was
like you had the money and you wanted to wait on the government to take care of that for
you.
Yes.
And I was like, if Biden have to wipe the loans, let me benefit at least 5,000 from this. Because some of us who have already paid back, the people kept asking, what about those who are already debt free? Will they give their money back that they paid? They're like, no. So I was like, let me keep 5,000. If Biden wipes the debt, I benefited 5,000. But it didn't happen. I just paid my loans off around April this year. I'm like, I ain't waiting on no government no more. And let me just go ahead and pay this stuff and get rid of it.
So between December 2019 and December 2020,
Yep.
you paid off how much?
I paid off like 100 and because my loans are about approximately like 128,000. So I paid off like I left only 5,000 even because they have put a stop on the interest, so interest was not accruing.
Yeah.
So I paid off 123,000 because I had 5,000 left, and I was keeping it for the government to help me with that one, but the government did not. So
that was student loans, and then the credit cards. How much?
The credit cards, I had almost like 13 to 14,000 in credit card debt just from accumulation, taking vacations I'm not supposed to, buying stuff I'm not supposed to, helping people. I mean, I should have helped them, but not at that moment and in the capacity at which I did. Why you're in debt? Because one thing about me, I'm a very giving person. I love to help people. And that's one thing that really motivated me to get debt free, because someone will call me and ask for money, and I know you really need the money. Somebody is sick and they really truly need that money. But I can't help you because I've not even helped myself. It's even said in the Bible, you gotta help yourself to help others. So I'm like, if I give this money, how do I pay my bills? But now that I'm debt free, if somebody asks me for 50,000, I can easily help the person because I'm not thinking that this money will have gone towards this debt or something like that. I can just help the person. So that's the difference. And that's one of the things that really motivated me because I love giving back.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Amazing. We have a question here from the audience. Alice from YouTube. She's asking, what tips do you have to share to maintain and sustain a debt-free life?
Oh, that's a great question, Alice. And I always tell people, number one, you have to budget. That's number one. If you ask any finance guru out here, they'll tell you the same thing. You need to know exactly where your money is going to. Trust me. And I always tell people, what is your rich life? I love traveling. I'm never gonna stop traveling. I love to travel, but I budget for that because I actually have sinking funds for travel. So you need to be able to budget to know exactly where your money is going to every month, to tell your money where to go rather
Yeah.
than your money telling you where to go. You need to have an emergency fund. You need to have sinking funds for everything you want to do, be it like vacations, family. I still give people gifts, but I have a sinking fund for that. Christmas is coming up, right?
Yeah.
I saved up some money already because I know that I want to get some gifts for people. Be it $2,000, I already have that money there. I know I have to help people. So that is the best way. Budget and create a money plan for yourself, and also set boundaries. Especially with us Africans, we need to place boundaries. With the kind of families where we come from, where we grew up, it's in our upbringing. We need to help cousins, aunties. Not that you shouldn't help people, but you have to place boundaries.
Yeah.
I have a budget for giving every month. If it exceeds 500, you call me. I'm like, next month. There's nothing available this month anymore.
I like how you bring up boundaries there, because I know a lot of people do have issues with setting up boundaries or how to even go about setting up those boundaries. What's your approach to that?
So what I do is, like, when it comes to like money, I have a category for everything. Like giving, like I said, I love to give. When I'm creating my budget, I have a budget of 500 every month, maybe to give people. In case I don't use it, I'll roll it over. But in that budget, if I've already allocated and given out all that money, and you call me that, hey, I have an emergency, I'm sorry, I can't afford it this month, next month. That's a boundary I put right there. So make sure I don't overspend. I
You
will
know,
put
it's
you,
yes, sorry, go ahead.
I will tell you, I will put you into my budget for next month, and I'll help you out next month. But it's $500. If I go above 500, I have nothing to give anybody, unless it's a matter of life and death. Then yes. If it's not, I'm sorry. Next month.
Yeah. I actually did a Facebook post like last year. I said budget monthly for giving. And if it doesn't fall within, like if it falls out of, exactly as you explained, if it falls out of your budget for the giving for this month, put it to next month's budget. But
Yep.
somebody told me, hey, so a family member called her from Cameroon and said, borrow from your credit card and give it to me, please.
Nope. No, we don't do that. We don't do that. And I'm a big advocate on credit cards because if, like, when I was following Dave Ramsey is totally against credit cards, everything on cash. If you're a Dave Ramsey person. So I was
Mm-hmm.
like, well, I love Dave Ramsey. I'm gonna pick away the stuff I want to take from him, and I will
Mm-hmm.
throw the rest that don't resonate with me and
Uh-huh.
my journey. And credit card is one of them. If you tell Dave Ramsey about credit cards, he doesn't want to hear it. But I use credit cards every day. I
Uh-huh.
don't I don't use my debit cards unless I'm trying to withdraw money from my ATM. Everything I do is on a credit card. When I go somewhere, the first thing I'm asking, do you guys take credit cards? If you're not taking credit cards, I'm almost not doing business with you. I'm like, why are you
Okay.
not taking credit cards? I don't have cash. I don't have a debit card. Why don't you take credit cards? I get upset. I'm like, why not? Why are you not taking credit cards? So I
Uh-huh.
use credit cards, but I'm very, very cognizant of the fact that I have to pay my balance. I pay it off at least twice a month, even. I don't even wait until the due date. I pay it off as soon as I know that I've used this charge. It's already in my mind. It's a mindset. And one thing about money, we have to understand that it starts with your mindset. If you can change your whole mindset, even when it comes to losing weight, they can give you everything you have. They can give you all the tips. Of course, you can go online and Google how to lose weight. Go on YouTube, you'll see tons and thousands of advice. If you don't change your mindset, discipline, and implement those principles, you're never gonna go anywhere. Even if you buy everything to
Mhm.
lose weight, if you're not implementing them, you're not gonna do it, or you're not
Yeah.
gonna see any results.
So on the credit card, here is my approach on credit card because Dave Ramsey, he's absolutely against it. He won't even hear of it. And when I
Yeah,
started on my personal journey, my husband and I, we started on this journey. We were completely anti-credit cards because credit cards was what enabled us to be able to get into using money we didn't have. And that's very common
mm-hmm.
for a lot of people. But for me, once you've been able to create that discipline and you know that you don't spend money that you don't have, I mean, credit cards are for the financially educated. It's not for
Yeah,
people who are struggling to figure out how money works. If you know exactly how money works, then you want to use a credit card. I have no problem with that. But for most people, the vast majority of people, like you walked into a bank and they offered you at 18 years old, they offered you a credit card, and you went
yep,
to a store and they offered you credit cards upon credit cards. And at that point, you had no idea how money worked.
nope, I
No
didn't.
idea. So
I was just
for
interested in saving 30% of my purchase that day. Who cares?
exactly. So for people who have no idea how it works, you know what? My advice to them is don't use it. But
Yeah,
if you are financially literate,
savvy. Mm-hmm.
savvy, exactly, then you want to use a credit card. I have no problem with that. So I just had to make that clarification out there. And I think that's your approach as well to the whole thing.
Yep. If you're not financially savvy, and you can still be financially savvy, right? But you know you're not disciplined to use a credit card, don't use it.
Yeah.
Honestly, don't use it, because some people know finances, but they still get in credit card trouble because they're not 100% disciplined to know that they will pay that card off, or they will only use it when they know they have the money to pay back. So I'm like, in that case, please just avoid it. Budget for your stuff, and just, some people also use what you call cash envelopes. They have
Yeah.
categories and envelopes for everything, maybe for gas, for maybe for the month. They have their gas category, they have their clothing, they have their shopping, they have their eating out, they have their grocery, and they just use envelopes. It works for them. So do what works for you, but make sure that you can follow through, because I'm not a cash person. The cash envelope cannot work for me. I cannot be
Hmm.
carrying cash. I see those people carrying cash in their wallets, and like that method doesn't work for me. So I mostly do a zero-based budget, and I
Hmm.
just use my credit cards, and I make sure I pay it in full every month, twice a month. I pay my card sometimes 3 times a month.
Yeah. Let's take some questions from the audience and some comments. Gang says, love your determination, Nina. So
Thank you.
here is a question. Sometimes I feel some people really want to get out of debt, but their income don't permit them to. Was your income enough, or did you have to do more to pay it faster? If yes, what did you do?
Honestly, like I said, I love to be very transparent. What really helped me on my debt-free journey was my income, because I was making like a six-figure income. I was making like, say, $7,000-$8,000 a month. Honestly, to be very transparent. And
Hmm.
then I don't have a lot of like responsibilities, right?
Do
Because
you
I
have kids?
imagine I don't have kids. So
Mm.
imagine somebody who have kids, the situation will not be the same like mine. Imagine somebody who is still in school, the situation will not probably be like mine. I kind of have family in the US here, so I don't have too many people. I have people who depend on me back home, but it's like extended relatives, not like direct family that I know that I'm responsible for them. So I have family here. So all those things I consider like the privileges that help me speed up my weight loss journey, because I was working. I had a six-figure income. I had a good job, and pretty much if I was making like say 8,000 a month, I can just really live on 2,000 a month and pay my debts for 6,000 a month. It was very doable for me because, again, we're in a pandemic, we're not going anywhere. And
Yeah.
then my cost of living too. And one thing I'm gonna put it out there: you have to cut your cost of living. I had an apartment and I had a roommate. I could pay the 2,000. My apartment was 2,300. I could pay that alone. But I got a roommate, and because they had a bigger room, I was only paying $900 a month in my rent. So imagine if I was paying 3,000 or 2,000. That would also it will be a diminishing factor because rent is taking up all your money. And
Yeah.
rule number one, your rent or your mortgage should never take up 25% of your income. So I was making like 8,000 a month, but I was only paying rent for $900.
Yeah.
And then I did not have a car note. I paid off my car like 4 or 5 years ago, and I was driving the same car for 7 years. So all those little things kind of helped me. My car was an old car, so the insurance was really cheap. My insurance alone was just like $70 a month. So my cost of living was very low. That's what helped me too. So I didn't have a second job, but my cost of living was very low. And then at one point, I went back on the weekend and I picked up a little job. That job was just giving me about, say, $700 a month. But that $700 a month could literally pay most of my bills. And then I'll just pay my rent. And then the rest of the money, I throw it to my student loans. And
Yeah.
since I was prioritizing paying off debt, I just had my emergency fund. I was not investing at that time.
Yeah.
So you see, right? To be very transparent, my income played a huge role. And for people who don't have a lot of income, I will tell you start small, but start somewhere. Even if you're making 30,000 a year, you can still start somewhere. You can start by even making 200. You're better off than somebody who's not doing anything. I was paying 6,000, but that might not be the case because people have kids. I can't compare myself to somebody who have 2, 3 kids. We're not the
Yeah.
same. Yeah.
That's amazing. Say, wow, Nina, you're amazing. A very well brought up, disciplined lady, wise beyond your age. You're such an
Thank you.
inspiration. Well done.
Thank you. Is it Nanger?
Nenge, that's my sister again.
Oh, nice.
All right. So this is about boundaries. That is it. Set limits to everything, including how much you give to charity each month. Let's talk about that. Do you do tithes or charity, or well, besides the giving that you're doing to people back home, right? Do you
Mm-hmm.
do any additional intentional giving like tithes and charity?
Honestly, I'm always arguing on that chapter because I have one of my friends that's a pastor, and I always tell him like, why do I have to give tithes when I know people who are suffering? I could actually help them a month. Like I'm not okay, I'm not saying I'm not gonna pay tithes, but I just feel like I need to help a neighbor before I'm going to go help a church. You have
Mm,
people suffering by you. Why am I gonna help somebody who's not suffering by me? Why will I not help them? And then I go pay tithes. To be very
yeah.
transparent, again, I wasn't paying tithes throughout that period. And even
Mhm.
right now, if I pay tithes, I'm not consistent because I prefer to help people that I know that are suffering for real,
Yeah.
than paying tithes. Even though the
Yeah.
Bible says you can still help people, but you have to pay your tithes. But honestly, I choose to differ. I prefer to still pay money.
Well, that's a topic for another day, and I'm
Yes,
sure a lot of Christians
exactly.
are gonna argue on that. But to me,
Oh,
at the end of the
oh,
day,
now I
it's
know they're
really
gonna come
about
for me. Yeah, because I always say
to me
that.
at the end of the day, it's just being able to give substantially, essentially. So if that's in tithes or if that's in giving the way you're doing, helping people that you know intentionally, it's not like people you're getting something from, but it's just making an intentional decision to say, I'm going to be a blessing to somebody without expecting something in return.
Yep. And these are people who can never help you back. So
Mhm. So what are some of the resources that I would say helped you besides Dave Ramsey, but what are some of the resources that helped you to shape your mindset, to shape your mindset in this journey?
So I started watching a lot of YouTube too because one apart from Dave Ramsey, one personal finance nerd I started following was the budget mom. If you follow her
Okay.
on Instagram, because when I started looking up, you know how when you're looking up something, it start proposing other stuff. I
Yeah.
watched the budget mom and she really inspired me too because she was a single mom. And at the time, she had a 4-year-old and she paid off almost 80,000 in debt. It took her about 3 years because, of course, she had a lower income, she had responsibilities, but she really inspired me and she was sharing her story. So I joined, I started following her on Instagram, and then I also started meeting other people that were paying off debt. That community kind of helped me. Then I also joined the Facebook community of the Ramsey Online that I saw a lot of people sharing their stories. And then I also read books. I started reading a lot of finance books, a lot of finance podcasts, like so many books. I will probably list them and the authors of those books,
Hmm.
podcasts, the news, and just research, blog posts, like everything about finance. I became obsessed, literally. I would just download stuff about finance, podcasts, but I was just reading everywhere and anywhere, like that I could get information about finance and how to understand how money works. I'm still
Mm-hmm.
learning because we learn every day. I'm not better, but trust me, I will proudly say I'm a lot better than so many people I know, especially in my community. And that's why I'm
Yeah.
out there preaching this knowledge, helping people, and wanting people to have that freedom because debt freedom actually brings you that freedom. It gives you options. It gives you
Yeah.
options to wake up and say, I don't feel like working today, and I'll call out because I know I don't have any debt to pay. I can still meet up my bills. But when you're constantly in debt, you cannot afford, even the day on days you're sick, you cannot
Yeah.
afford to call out of work because you're thinking about the money that you're gonna lose, especially maybe if you're a contractor or you're working on an hour-to-hour basis. If you're a full-time someone, you can even call out because you still get paid.
Yeah.
When you're a contractor, you cannot afford to miss one day because you know you're not going to get paid. But
Yeah.
being debt free gives you those options, and that's very important to me. Options.
Yeah. I think a lot of people in our community are actually drowning in debt, and when you talk about having that option, for some people they can't even see it because it's like that's the only way of life that they know, being in debt, using credit cards.
Yeah,
And I mean, just this way, the way you used to be, the way that I would say I used to be at one point.
yeah. I used to live my best life because like I said, I love traveling. I will go
Yeah.
to Miami. I will go to Vegas. I will just travel. Oh my God, I will go to Cameroon. Even when I'm broke, I will leave from here. You know how we're going to Cameroon? Trust me. I'm gonna buy stuff, ship like I'm traveling, ship stuff in barrels, carry here like 8 boxes. I bought all the stuff on credit cards. And when I came back from Cameroon in 2016, I had another wake up call, but still, that was not enough. Because
Hmm.
I came back and I looked at my credit card debt. I was in 40,000 in credit card debt. I
Wow.
paid it off though. I paid it off, but I still went back in debt. So you see the difference? My mindset had not shifted then. Because when
Yes.
I came back in 20, I went to Cameroon December 2015. I got back in February because I was in Cameroon for like almost 8 weeks. I got back and when I looked at my credit cards, because like we have one app here called Credit Karma, you can just go on Credit Karma and see how much you owe for all your credit cards.
Hmm.
Honestly, I was in like $40,000 worth of credit card debt. But
From
truth
just
be
things
told,
you bought to send to
no,
Cameroon.
prior to that, stuff I bought, and then I was so stupid because I lent a friend of mine my credit card. They used it for over $10,000 to ship stuff and promised to pay the money and never paid it. It was on my credit card. So out of the 40,000, 30,000 was on me. 10,000 being generous, helping a friend out. I gave a friend to use my card. They never
How
paid my card back. Can you imagine
how
how
do you
stupid I was?
That
I
was
was.
stupid. Thank you for using that word. How do you give your credit card to a person
They
to
promised
use?
me they were gonna pay back because they used my card before and they paid it back. So they promised me they were gonna pay it back, and I never ever got the money. Or they gave me the money later on, and in very $300, $200, chicken change. So I came back. I was still in debt, but that did not really kickstart the burden on me, even after paying off that debt, because I went right back into debt.
Yeah. So what's different this time then?
My
What made your
mindset.
mindset shift this time?
I had to be like, I'm breaking generational curses from my generation and from my family.
Yeah.
It cannot be the same. We cannot be in this same. And then I started watching how people were retiring early. There's one thing about the FIRE movement,
Yeah.
financial independent, retire early. That's the
Yes.
next goal I'm striving for. Because I just turned 30 right now. I don't want to work until I'm 65. I want to retire at 40. So maximum is 45. So I have
Yeah.
10 more years to work. So I had to be like, how do these people retire early?
Yeah.
Just not even making 100,000 a year, not making six figures. If they can do it with kids, I can do it because I'm making six figures. And
Yeah.
how am I still broke? And I watch people's stories of them. I mean, a combined income, household income of a wife and a husband, they retired early without making up to $100,000.
Yeah.
How was that possible? And I'm
Yeah.
like, how with two kids? How did they do it?
Yeah.
So I had to start asking questions. And I'm like, if they can do it, I can do it. I'm single, alone, and I make over $100,000. And
Yeah.
tell me, give me a reason why I cannot do that. Give
Yeah.
me a reason
That's
why I
true.
should not retire early. So this other mindset shifts, and I watched so many people's stories, and it really inspired me.
Yeah. And that's exactly what we're trying to do here today. We're sharing stories so that when people out there can look at it and say, wow, I know this person and they are doing it, it means I can do it too. Because
Yep.
that's the beauty of you seeing people, when you see people doing stuff, and especially people you know,
That
when you
you
see
know.
people you know doing stuff,
Mhm.
it makes you realize that, okay, maybe there's something that I can do to make a difference in my life and in my family. Maybe there's something I could do.
Yep.
That's amazing. That's amazing. That mindset shift is what is really needed.
Yeah.
And speaking about that, let's go into this the whole money topic being a taboo in our community. It is a taboo in our community, and people just don't want to talk about money. Have you experienced that?
Are you which African have not are you even kidding me? We grew up just knowing that in my household, my dad always said there's no money, pretty much, period. Like there's no going back and forth. Like some things we just consider luxury. I went to boarding schools because I went to Lourdes, and when you're
Yeah.
going to school, they're pretty much telling you there's no money, period. Like there's no money. That was the topic of the day. There's no money. I'm understanding, like, so where's the money going to? Because I'll be asking questions. Don't you work? Don't my mom work? So where's the money? Why are you telling me there's no money 24/7? We never grew up having money conversations. This is how you save, this is what you do, and all of that. And mind you, like I'm telling you, leaving Cameroon at that age, leaving Cameroon and coming to a foreign land at 18, that's like the prime of your life. I got here at 18. If you don't have the right directions, if you don't have the right people to put you on the right foot, you might go to a path that you might never return from. But if you
Yeah.
have the right people that can set you up for success, you can be anything you want to be.
Yeah.
Coming at 18 in America where you have freedom. I mean, imagine coming from Africa with the kind of African households we grew up in. At 18 years, you're still a child to your parents, but at
Yeah.
18, American is an adult. They can make
Yeah.
decisions on their own. They can live alone. They take decisions, whatever they want to do. But even at 25 in Cameroon, you're still a kid to your parents. So we never talk about money. So when I came here, even when they gave me the first credit card, I didn't know how to even read the statement. They sent a credit card statement to me. I didn't even know. They sent me an APR. I'm like, what is the APR? What is the
Yeah.
APY? I didn't know how to read my statement. All I saw is that you're owing $1,000 and you have $25 minimum payment. I just go ahead and make my $25 minimum payment. So it's not something that we grew up, that it was being taught in our households. They didn't teach us all those things. I had to learn them on my own. And I vowed to myself that my children's children, my generation, we have to start making financial literacy an open topic. It can no
Yeah.
longer be a taboo. It can no longer be like I'm very open. If anybody asks me how much do you make, I will tell you, because I want us to have those open conversations so
Yeah.
that we can know if you're getting underpaid or overpaid. So many people work in jobs nowadays that they're underpaid, but because they don't discuss finances, they don't understand. People have 401ks at their job. They don't know how to invest in those 401ks. They don't know how to invest their money. They don't know how to budget, because once you bring up anything about finances, it becomes so personal and people become so defensive, and they try to be very defensive and give you all excuses as
Yeah.
to why they are doing stuff the way they do them. But that's a taboo, and I want to break that. Nowadays, when I go to family occasions, I'm asking everybody, have you paid off your debts? Like I'm interrogating them. They already know me. Like, okay, Madam Finance. I'm like, yes, I'm right here. I'm the money nerd. Yes. I'm like, what are you doing this month? And the year is about to end. I'm coming for them again. I'm like, tell me your financial goals for next year. What do
Yeah.
you want to achieve? Tell me the goals you had for 2021. Did you achieve them? You told me you're gonna start investing, and then I'm asking them, your company offers a 401k. Are you investing in your 401k? Do you have a brokerage account? Are you having any kind of investments? Do you have student loans? Do you know how much you owe? Do you have credit card debt? I am asking them those questions. My family and friends know. If you go out with me, that's the topic we're talking about. If you don't get your finances straight, we cannot be friends, because you have to get. I always tell them you have to get your shit straight. I'm sorry, but you have to get your finances in order, because I'll come for you.
When you're
Yeah.
talking, I see myself in you because I think my friends already know by now. Ida is always talking about money. You know,
Yes.
don't kind of get right.
Yeah, they know me. My mom is like, this is a new journey. I say, yes, mom. I need to know. She has to. She just went up one time and somebody gave her a life insurance policy. I was so pissed off. I'm like, why do you get an insurance policy without even talking to me? Do you know
Mhm.
what they put on that insurance policy? I had to take that policy and review the policy. And when I reviewed it, I canceled the whole policy. She's like, no, I said, Mom, you have to cancel this policy. I'm going to look for an insurance policy that's going to be beneficiary to you and sign you up for. Because at the end of the day, most of these insurance brokers, they come and meet people who don't understand financial knowledge and sign them up for policies. Imagine my mom, she has 60s. She doesn't know enough details. She doesn't know enough information to make an informed decision. You sign her up for a policy. All she knows is that she's paying $300 a month. I asked her, well, Mom, what are you paying $300 for? For what?
Yeah.
She cannot tell me.
Yeah. Because they don't take the time to explain it, because they need to educate you so you can make that decision for yourself. But instead, they come and they start telling you big language. They just tell you financial terms that make no sense to you.
You cannot understand. If you're not a finance nerd, you will not understand. Yes.
Yeah. Explain it to me like I am 5 so I can understand it, so I can make a decision for me. That's what we're doing here. And this is what this movement is about. We're giving you guys information so you can know the questions to ask. You can avoid the mistakes that other people have made, that we have made, and that we've seen people making. That's the purpose of this whole live show we do. Yeah. I really love your enthusiasm, Nina, and there's lots of comments. Yeah, keep going, but I'm going to go through and see what comments and what questions we haven't answered.
And I will not, can you imagine at one point I had over 20 credit cards. So I cut them all off and I'm down to like about 8 right now. And out of the 8, I don't even use some of them. I just keep them because, longevity. So if you have them for the most time, they can help with your credit score. But truth be told, I had 20 credit cards. Yes. And most of them were store credit cards like Target, TJ Maxx, all of these stupid store credit cards that were not even helping me. I'm like, we just go to store. You want a credit card? Oh, yes, 30% off. I sign up for the card. It's not even helping me. I'm like, what am I doing with all these cards? I had one for Victoria's Secret. I had one for Target. I had one for TJ Maxx, Best Buy, Macy's, and I was addicted to Macy's. I would get into Macy's and shop for $3,000. Who does that?
Yeah. And that's what those cards do, because every store wants to, besides the fact that having a store credit card is going to entice you to spend even more money at that shop, they use your information because I read this in a book, it's something about habit. Mm-hmm. Each of those stores assign a user ID to you based on that card or that store card that you have. Even if it's a point card or it's a store credit card or whatever it is, a store card, they assign a user ID to you and they have a user profile for you. And pick out the kind of things that you're buying, and then they customize the ads that they're sending to you. So they're sending you stuff that's going to entice you to come back and buy more.
Can you imagine? Then I had one for Victoria's Secret. I was addicted to Victoria's Secret and Macy's. I would go into Victoria's Secret and shop there for $300, $400 all the time. And then I'm like, what the hell was I doing? And right now, then, when you don't use the cards now, they'll send you messages like, oh, it's been a while, I've not used your card. You need to come in and shop. I'm like, oh, yeah, you guys got the wrong person this time around.
Yeah.
Not me. I'm not shopping. I'll probably just go there and buy something for $25 to keep the card open. Not me this time around.
Personally, I closed all those things. I closed them all. I have one card right now just because I want to have a card for convenience, but I closed all of them, all those. And when you call them and you say, I want to close my card, they say, why?
Why? Yeah.
Why do you want to close your card? And I want to start persuading you.
Representatives. So it's like, because I want to close it, it's my card, right? I want to close it, period. And she's like, well, we're going to give you that. I was like, ma'am, please close the card. That's all I want to do. Close the card. She says, it's going to affect. I said, close the card. Please, let's not go back and forth. Like, you have to be very stern because they will convince you. You know why? We live in a capitalist system. They're going to convince you to keep that card. Tell them, period, I want to close the card and be very stern on it. No back and forth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's go through comments here. Someone here, Kizito says, I think Nina's story should be submitted to Business Insider.
How do I go about it? Because I
girl.
I looked at it one time. I was like, how do I get, because I see a lot of stories on Business Insiders. And then I was like, I need to probably contact someone who works on Business Insider to help me put my story out there, because like coming from African background, trust me, it's really tough with all of our responsibilities and everything. But if I can do this, anyone can do it.
Yeah. Yeah. Amazing comments. Thank you so much, guys. And then Sylvia says, I love this. I need this enthusiasm.
Thank you,
And
Sylvie.
good job, ladies. Good for you, ladies. Keep it up. You're changing the narrative, and we need to hear more. Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely.
How many credit cards did you have, Nina? Okay, we answered that question. You said 20 credit cards at one
Yeah, I
point.
had about 20 or 21 of them, but right now I have about 8 credit cards. And I don't use all of them, like I said. It's just because some of them were like the very first credit cards I opened. So it's helping like with my longevity or the time I had with my credit. So in a year, maybe I'll just probably use like $50 there just to keep the card open. But I have like
Mhm.
3 cards I actually use right now. 2 of them are travel cards because, like I said, I'm big on travel. And then one is a everyday spend card.
Yeah. Well, if you are somebody who is not financially savvy, if you're not disciplined, please don't do what Nina is
No,
doing. Cut
don't
up
do
all
it.
your cards and throw them away.
Yeah, period. Don't use cards if you're not gonna be disciplined to
Yeah.
pay them off. Yeah.
And
And
when
when I say
people hear,
pay off everything in full, not that you're paying and leaving $300. I'll pay next time. You have to pay off everything.
yeah. So when people hear about budget, they equate budget to don't spend money. Let's talk about that. I know we've gone back and forth on budgeting, but have you had this resistance from people that you're coaching telling you,
Yeah.
I can't budget because I want to spend my money?
No, and I used to tell them that a budget gives you the freedom to do what you want with your money. Because
Yeah.
I always tell them, like I read in the book, I Will Teach You to Be Rich by Ramit Sethi. He's an
Mhm.
Indian guy. You guys can Google him up. I Will Teach You to Be Rich. One thing I took out of that book in here, it always resonates with me. He said, define what your rich life is. If your rich life is to travel, budget and save the money for travel, like me. If your rich life is to have your coffee every day and have your latte every day, budget your money for your coffee, your Starbucks every day. If your rich life is to go out to restaurants and that's what you love, budget the money for that. If your rich life is to help people, budget the money. So define your rich life. So budgeting should not be a cumbersome task. It should
Yeah.
something that you should love doing because you can actually know where your money is going and allocate every dollar a job. You literally give every dollar a job. And one thing I'm also gonna put out there, you have to pay yourself first. Trust me, when I heard this term on Dave Ramsey's show first, pay yourself first, I'm like, what the hell? What is pay yourself first? What do
Yeah.
you mean pay yourself first? Am I not already getting the paycheck? What do you mean pay yourself first? I don't understand. And I had to watch so many videos, and I was like, oh, all through this time, I've not been paying
You've
myself.
not been. Yeah.
I was not investing in my 401k, or even I was investing, I was probably investing because the company will insist you will do 3%. I was only doing the 3%. I was leaving money on the table. We
Yeah.
cannot continue to leave money on the table. We have to take every money that belongs to you. The one from your employer, the one that you deserve. You work hard for that money. You have to work. And I read a quote also. It says, everything of what you work is yours to earn. You have to keep something of it. You work for that money. You have to prioritize yourself. So, and that's when I got the concept of paying yourself first. Because when I got that concept, I did not understand. I had
Yeah.
to go read books and like, what does it mean to pay yourself first?
Yeah.
So when you get, and this is how most of us do, when we get our paychecks, we pay bills, we live our lives, and then we think to save. But now, and that's what I was doing in the past. Right now, before my paycheck comes, you already have angles to where it's going to. Remember how I said I got my paycheck and I got 150?
Yeah.
I'd not paid myself first. But right now, when I get my paycheck and I'm left with 150, I'm contented. You know why?
You
Because I paid
already paid
myself.
yourself.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I already know where the money went to. I
Yeah.
paid my investments, I paid my 401k, I paid my Roth IRA, I paid my brokerage accounts, I paid everything. So even if I'm left with 150 discretionary spending, I know that I'm contented because I paid myself.
Yeah.
But in the past, I was left with 150 without paying myself. I was paying borrowed money that I borrowed from people.
Yeah. This concept is very well explained in the book called The Richest Man in Babylon. It's
Yes.
very well explained in that book, the whole concept of paying yourself first. Because in life, you would sometimes you would look around you and you say, how come every other person is doing so well? Or how come the people we went to school with, they are able to live this kind of life and they seem to have a lot more money, and some of us are not having that money. It's really all about their mindset and how they have, in a simple term, paid themselves,
Yep.
because they are setting aside money before they're distributing the money for everything else, before the bills. Because you know what? You don't want debt collectors coming behind you. So you are going to find a way to pay the bill.
Yep. Prioritize yourself.
Pay yourself, and then you take care of all those things. Because if the
Mhm.
money is short, you will find a way to pay it.
Yep.
But if the money is short on you paying yourself at the end of the day, you're like, okay, I'll just do it next month.
Yeah, next
But you
month.
start
You
with
keep
yourself,
rolling
you pay
over.
yourself, and then whatever is left, you take care of everything else that needs to be taken care of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, absolutely amazing. So, Nina is a financial coach, just like me. She's based in the USA in the DMV area. So Nina, tell people what you offer in your coaching business.
So, well, I kind of offer a coaching business. Like, I just really want to help people. First of all, my motive of this, honestly, they say in life, find your purpose. And when I started getting into this, I finally thought I found my purpose, because I
Yeah,
used to ask, sometimes I'll pray to God and ask God, what is my purpose on earth?
yeah,
I knew one of my purpose on earth was to help people, because like I said, I'm a giver. I love to give. I'm charity and all of that. I love to give. But I think I found my purpose again in helping people, educate them on financial knowledge.
yeah,
So that is my niche. And when I found that, I was so happy, because I'm like, I finally get to do what I like and to teach people. And how about if you go out with all of your friends and all of you guys are talking about your investments, you guys are debt free on your vacation, how you gonna feel? I don't want to be the same only one in that position, going out with my friends and they're in debt and they are struggling and I cannot help them. I
yeah,
want us to be on the same level, because when you have people who are on the same level or things way ahead of you, you guys can think, resonate with one another.
yeah.
Like, you can share conversations, you can easily become millionaires, because I'm on the road to becoming a millionaire. Like I always said, I'll be the
Preach
first
it.
millionaire in my family, but I'll certainly not be the last millionaire. Other millionaires have to follow, because I have to teach them this information. I'm
Yeah,
gonna be the first millionaire in my family. I said that already, but I
yeah,
will not be the last. So
yeah,
many more will come behind me because
yeah,
of the knowledge I'm gonna teach them. So I do coaching because I want to help my community, put this knowledge out there, help people pay off their debt. I see people who are struggling every day to pay off their debt. They don't know where to start. Like me, when I started, I had to go Google how to get out of debt. I literally Googled that, but I offer like a 30-day program, a 90-day program, and like one-on-one coaching. Just depends on your personal situation, right? When it
yeah,
comes to personal finance, it's personal. Everyone's situation is not the same. That's one thing I'll put it out there.
yeah,
My situation will not be the same as either situation. My situation will not be the same as maybe Pamela or Genze or anyone's situation. Everyone's situation is different. So
yeah,
when I want to coach you, I tailor your situation based on your needs. So I need to talk to you to understand your lifestyle, and then we can go from there. So that's pretty much how I do it. And my mission is to have so many more millionaires in the Black community, because if you look at the statistics, Black people are the poorest set of people here. Black people and the Spanish people, we need to change the narrative. We need more millionaires in our society, in our community, in our Cameroonian society. We
yeah.
need more millionaires, and we are on the road to make that happen.
Yeah. And it all starts with changing the mindset. And that's exactly what we're doing. We're getting information out there, changing the mindset, changing the narrative so that you can take control of your life. And that's what my course, I have a course that I'm offering. I'm just going to put the banner up here for that. But it's a Take Back Your Money course, which is where you're going to learn how to take back control of your money so that you can pay off debt and free up cash and begin to create a more stress-free life that's fulfilling for you. That's what I do in my private coaching. That's what I'm doing in the program I'm offering, which is a Take Back Your Money course. And that's very similar to what Nina is doing as well in her coaching business. So if you want to reach out to Nina directly, that's her information. She's on Instagram at DFin Coaching on Instagram, but you can reach her by email at nina@dfincoaching.com as well. Find
Yeah.
her on Instagram, find her on, you can reach her on email, or you can message me, or you can just in the comments right here, you can definitely put the message, say, hey, Nina, contact me, and she will definitely reach out to you. Final words, Nina, do you have any word of advice for somebody who is drowning in debt right now? What
Well,
what word of advice can you give to that person today?
so my final word, if I was to talk to my younger self, I'll be like, just calm down. It can be very overwhelming, it can be very daunting, but start from somewhere. Don't just give up and be like, I can't do this. Because I've seen people who have like $300,000 worth of debt, people that probably went to medical school, pharmacy school, and all of that. Don't give up. Start somewhere. Start snowball steps. And when you start with the snowball steps, you're going to see progress. If you need help, that's why we are here. Sometimes you can get overwhelming and be like, I cannot do this. This is just too much. I don't know what to do. Contact us. We can help you to get started. We can put you on the right trajectory that's going to set you up for success. Start somewhere and make those little steps. I always say it's like, it's the same as you want to lose weight. If you commit that you want to lose 45 pounds, you have to start somewhere.
Yeah.
You have to start. When you see that you've lost 3 pounds, it's going to motivate you. If you're having maybe like me that had $100,000, when I paid up $40,000 at once, it lighted the fire in me, because I was like, wow, so this is possible, and it kept me going. So start somewhere, just be calm. You know that it's going to happen. And I just want to put it out there that it will not take you maybe 1 year to pay off debt like me. It takes some people 5 years, 4 years, 3 years. Everybody's journey is different. Work on your part and be content on your part. Just follow your path, look on your own lane, water your grass in your own lane, and don't care about what Nina is doing. Don't care about what Ida is doing. Care about what you can do to help yourself, because we're not the same. Like I said, we come from different financial backgrounds, different responsibilities. Don't think that you can pay off debt in 1 year. It might not be possible for everybody. So comparison is a theft of joy. So do what you can do at your own pace, and small steps are gonna lead to bigger progress.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. Comparison is a theft of joy. That's a very powerful statement, because that's exactly what social media does for a lot of people. They're looking out there and you want to look like everybody else. You want to live the life that everybody else is living, but no. Yeah. What's your why? Where are you going? What do you have to start doing today? You can sit here and gather all the information and have information overload, but if you don't start doing something today, nothing is going to change. Don't wait for January to start. Don't wait for the next month. Don't wait for tomorrow. Don't wait to do tomorrow what you can start doing today. Today, you can start with the budget. And if you don't know how to do that, reach out to Nina, reach out to me. Everything we do here is free, but when you do reach out to us for one-on-one coaching, it's a paid service.
Yep.
Both for Nina and both for me, it's a paid service. But if you want to, everything we're doing on social media right now, it's free, and you can definitely get on here and ask your questions, and we will get back to you. And that's why we're here. So thank you so much for joining us. Please follow Nina on Instagram at DFIN Coaching. And if you're on my page right now, thanks for being here with us. Give a thumbs up. If you're on YouTube, subscribe. If you're on Facebook, like my page. Thank you for watching. Thanks for honoring my invitation, Nina.
I feel like I just want to keep going. Honestly,
we will come back next time.
I just want to keep going. But yeah, we've come to the end of this. Thank you so much, Ida, for taking our time to have this chat conversation with me. And I hope we can continue in our messages and all of that, and continue putting out this vital information on these platforms out there to help this information reach the masses of people. That's the goal.
It's a moving train. It's not stopping.
It's a moving train.
Yep. Thank you, guys. Have an amazing day.
All righty. Thank you.